Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Pikmin 2. Last episode, we came here to Snagret Hole, which is full of everyone's favourite weird bird-lizard combination thing, the burrowing Snagret. We're on the final floor, and in the middle there is what is definitely not a boss arena by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm going to just move around the edges first because I have a... Well, there's your boss. This is a freakish thing. This is the Pileated Snagret. Note it has a weird fucking leg, and it makes me deeply uncomfortable for that reason. Hopefully it will leave me alone while I do what I want to do here, which is make some more red Pikmin. Is it going to fuck off? I think it will. Good, excellent. I was looking for this candy pop for exactly this reason. Let's... Guess I'm getting yellow Pikmin, that's cool. I actually wanted reds, because reds are a bit more useful in combat situations. But, you know, hey, yellows are cool. I mean, they can be thrown high, so actually they're not terrible for a fight against some Snagrets. Cool, right. With that done, I suppose... Whoa! Oh, so he can hop around as a Snagret can't, like a normal Snagret can't do. And looks like a right feathered freak. He's relatively easy to fight, I just don't want to do it yet, so I'm going to try and... I don't think there's another candy pop bud on here, but I want to at least get the members who will form the core of my army. Oh, mitites. Well, at least that gives me a lot of... Well, see, there's disadvantages and advantages to that. The advantage is that gets me a lot of nectar. I just need to make sure we don't accidentally, bring mitites back through the boss arena, which would be bad, because as soon as I step back into this arena, I'm going to get snagreted again, I'm sure of it. Or not. He's been weird. Right, let's crack that open. Always be prepared for a mitite egg, they can get you at any time. Right, with that done, I'm going to grab my reds and my yellows. 43, that's actually quite a lot. Well, either way, these are important Pikmin to me. So we'll take them with Mr. President, and then you can look after the important Pikmin and keep them out of harm's way. So, the Pileated Snagret. Fights like a normal Snagret, as in he occasionally gets stuck in the ground like that, and that is really your moment to attack him. When he's running around like this, just stay the fuck away from him, really. He'll go back into the ground, and this is really it. You just got to hit him there when he's kind of first coming out of the ground. You'll do a bit of damage to him. It's a slow process. He'll shake off, and then he'll go back in. And as long as you can basically get him out while he's on his way out, you'll be fine. It's actually quite hard for him to do any realistic amount of damage to you, because you see how this works. It's frustrating because it's a really slow fight. And I'm deeply... he's made out quickly there. That does occasionally happen. But yes, this is one of those boss fights where it's just like, this is just slow, unfortunately, because there's a very easy tactic to... Like, honestly, I don't even feel like I'm jebbing it here. It's literally just like, he doesn't put up much of a fight. You just do a bit of damage to him, a tiny bit of damage, and then he fucks off, and then you just repeat that process. Though here he's going quite well without getting stuck in the ground, which is slightly better, but he's not really done any of my Pikmin in, for example. You can stunlock him with purples or something like that, but it's really just not worth it. I would say just get your cheap Pikmin, especially being as though this floor is pretty much guaranteed to have a fucking candy pop bud on it. You would be foolish to not... Oh, are we gonna get him? Are we gonna get him? Yeah! You'd be foolish not to take advantage of that and just... Yeah, we lost like 3 reds in it. All in all, we've had a pretty good run of this dungeon, I'd say. Oh, you can see the Pikmin behind carrying his head. That's weird. You've done it. That bird beast will trouble you no more. Processing. How curious. What's that impressive mechanized masterpiece? It's a rock'em sock'em robot by the looks of it. But this is a fairly useful one to have. I potentially considered getting this earlier, and certainly looking at the state of the president, that might have been perhaps not such a bad mood. But I didn't, one way or the other. You'll see what I mean by that when it arrives. I'm going to hoover up these mitites now as well, because little bits of bonus cash will also never go awry. I want to make sure I'm ready. I want to flower up some of these remaining guys, but... So, this is worth 100 quid, but as ever, at the bottom of the cave, its real bonus is in what else it does. This is the Justice Alloy. Bzzzt, does not compute. A metal this dense defies the fundamental laws of physics. And yet, if I use this to rework our president's treasured spacesuit. Processing complete. Fabrication of the metal suit Z is now concluded, or Z if you are American. This suit is extremely durable. Getting gnawed on or stepped on will now produce minimal pain. Yeah, this massively increases the defense of your captains, which is bloody handy, actually, I must say. Everyone was over there, apparently. So that can be it can be handy to get that a bit earlier, which I didn't do necessarily. It depends basically what you want. I'm weird. I like the Stellar Orb. I like being in dungeons which are brighter. A lot of people don't like the Stellar Orb. They consider especially how nasty the Subterranean Complex is. A lot of people consider the Stellar Orb to be a kind of bullshit reward for that, but I really like it because it's nicer being in lit caverns and you can see shit more easily. And you can plan your route a little bit better, I find. Right, with that done, let's knock this down. Then technically we've got a little bit of time left in the day, but I don't think we have any time to actually reasonably do anything. So once we head through here, I'll just head back to nighttime and we'll do a whole episode of reading, basically, because we got 2 caves worth of stuff to read. Because we got all the stuff from the shower room and all the stuff from here. Fun times. So, of course, we reel everything in there. 13 Pikmin killed, but I think I've got more than that out of Candy Pot Mud, so I have net profited. I think I only lost 1 or 2 purples, which is what really matters. I think I've profited in purples, which is what matters. Cave complete. Excellent. Sunset time. So, let's see how I did. I know we gained and lost Pikmin, so I should be curious to see what the kind of net things are. Earned a lot of funds, and we've completely finished up in the Awakening Wood now, because we got the air brake on the surface, which was the final surface treasure, and then we 100%ed every cave, so that's us quarter of the way done with the game. No, it's more than a quarter, but we have finished the first of the 4 levels. Pikmin numbers. Everyone did well. All in all, that day, we've gained some of everyone. So we gained, 2. That means we must have lost 3 purples if we gained 2. But hey, we're getting some down there. But yeah, that's pretty good numbers altogether. Yeah, I lost some to battle, water, electricity. That 1 purple into the electricity. Ugh. 119 Pikmin lost in total. Now this is quite amusing.
Some president you are. I just got back from vacation to find out you're on a treasure hunt. Well, don't bother coming home until you've found every item on your list.
Yeah, we now get emails from the president's mum, obviously because the president... Oh, not mum, presumably wife. Weird that I went to mum. But, presumably, yes, now the president is here with us. That's the way we get updates. But yeah, look at that, Awakening Wood complete. Brilliant. So, let's go to the treasures and do some reading. Oh, something new to be revealed now. You collected the Gourmet series. These classic flavours will delight the smoothest gourmand. So, you'll notice now all the treasures we haven't got are highlighted. We can see what they are. And you'll notice they're highlighted in sections which are either green or blue. Those correspond to, on the visualizer, the coloured sections. They come in a series. When you unlock every treasure in a series, you get something unique. Like, for example, if I go to that Gourmand series, you'll notice we have the option for sales pitch. The ship comes up with a pitch to actually market these things, which is how their value back on Hocotate is worthwhile. I will spend an episode going through those, possibly later in the game, because that's a shit ton of reading to do once we've got basically all of them. For now, well, let the reading commence. This stick of meat makes me inexplicably hungry. The parts used to produce it seem to be of ambiguous origin and questionable quality. That's true about sausages. Yet it calls to me. Maybe I'll just have 1 bite. The taste sensation. Some things on this world can't be understood, no matter how much I analyse them. For instance, this is the first time I've tasted this, but it has a nostalgic taste. It's inexplicable. It tastes like something my mum made for me by hand. Oh, it's like the film Ratatouille. What a film. I like to eat sweets from time to time. Well, to be honest, if they're only within reach, I can't help myself. Strangely, the Pikmin never eat snacks. I wonder where all their energy comes from. The corpses of their fallen foes. You know this, Olimar. The Leviathan feather. It appears to be a huge bird feather, but I've never seen the creature it once belonged to. I wonder if I ever will. I've only seen a few airborne creatures on this planet. I wonder why. Maybe because flying Pikmin don't come in until Pikmin 3. Maybe it's just because I haven't encountered them yet. Oh no, what if they saw me take this feather? They could be watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to take their sweet revenge. The mysterious remains. This looks like some part of a crustacean. Its shape vaguely resembles a pair of scissors, but I've never seen anything quite like it. It's fair to assume this creature has already perished, but I don't understand why it hasn't already begun to fossilize. Maybe it was eaten by another creature and spit out these unwanted parts. Whoa there, that's crazy talk. The heavy-duty magnetizer. I've had an upset stomach lately. I'm not old yet, but I'm not young anymore either. Maybe I should start doing a better job of looking after my health. Perhaps basking in this contraption's magnetic rays will make this stronger. That's not how that works. So the Emperor Whistle. Sometimes it's difficult to tell if the treasure is natural or manufactured. The ship hasn't concluded that this treasure is natural, but I'm not so sure. The ship sulks and gripes for days if I disagree with it, so I'll keep my opinion to myself on this matter. The air brake. The weather was beautiful today. In this region, the weather is always good. The plants and animals thrive on all that sunlight. I want to hurry up and finish cataloguing all of these treasures so I can get back to the sunshine. The aquatic mine. I've recently noticed that changes in this planet's environment seem to happen at a very rapid pace. Compared to how it was when I was here before, the perplexing pool has changed drastically. Due to frequent tectonic shifts, the region appears slightly different each time I enter it. Does it? Is there like random elements to actually the levels as well? It could be a natural phenomenon, but I feel as if it's the presence of a guiding hand. Maybe it really is just my imagination running wild. The durable energy cell. This cryptic item exhibits an unbelievable quantity of stored dormant energy. The civilization that created this must have advanced tremendously when it discovered this powerful new energy source. If I were to take this technology back home, how would it affect the future of Hocketate? I know I've missed a few things because there are things from the perplexing pool that aren't labelled as new. I will get round to them eventually, don't worry. The saliva tricks. When I crash landed on this planet, I got sick of eating only Hocketate noodles every day. This time is no different. We didn't have time to properly prepare some tasty provisions. I can't stop drooling when I look at this evocative object. Hungry explorers must learn to use their imagination in the absence of food. The Justice Alloy. I found this metal treasure in the gut of an avian snake. I mean, all snakes are technically avian because reptiles come from birds. Or do birds come from... No. Birds and reptiles have common ancestors relatively recently, like dinosaur era. There were dinosaurs which were birds and ones which are lizards, and I think weirdly the ones that survived were the bird ones because they became birds and kind of were birds at the time. I took real courage to drop into that dark den, but danger's what I do best. In honour of my brave clash with that feathered serpent, I've named that den the Snagret Hole. Cupid's Grenade. What a perplexing fruit. It appears to possess two curiously conflicting traits. At times, it can bring forth wonderful feelings of love and affection. At other times, it can completely suppress all romantic inclinations. Its unpredictable nature means I'll need to be careful with it. I'll also warn Louis, or else he's liable to try baking it in a pie. Well, there's no Louis here at the moment, but... The Combustion Berry. I've collected all sorts of edible objects, but the ship's sensors can't judge taste. To make up for the ship's shortcomings, I'm trying to make a special effort to try everything. The Science Project. I think I'll take this plant back to my boy as a souvenir of my grand expedition. It'll make the perfect topic for his science fair project. And technically that's it. I'm going to see if I can find ones that I definitely know were from the shower room. The ship seems to think this leaf would be a smash hit among naturalist interior designers. I just think it looks and feels like a soft blanket. In the interest of scientific discovery, I'd better give it a test run. The Scrumptious Shell. I've encountered all kinds of grotesque, inedible creatures on this planet. However, there's an area in the perplexing pool region that's chock full of tasty critters. The Vorpal Platter. The monomolecular edge of this disastrous platter is sharp enough to split subatomic particles. I found it deep in a subterranean underground complex covered in slippery ceramic tiles. I learned that I can blow my whistle with B to save Pikmin from being burned, drowned, or poisoned. Also, I've done this, and it's horrifying. Have you ever cut your finger open on like the ring pull of a can? They are incredibly sharp. I'm really anal about it now because of exactly that reason that I always make sure I always chuck them in the bin even if I'm going to recycle the can because I want to reach and... Long story short, there's an amazing amount of blood in a finger, and when you're cooking and it goes all in the sweet corn, it's a whole thing. The Merciless Extractor. When I look back at the president, I can't see myself climbing the corporate ladder. To be a manager, you've got to be an inhuman, heartless villain. This trait allows them to flog their dedicated workers without mercy and still sleep at night. I feel that same merciless cruelty radiating from this metallic altar. I wonder if it was once used for dark, unspeakable ceremonies, or perhaps it was once on the desk of a corporate boss. We'll never know. The Divine Cooking Tool. Hocketate noodles every single day. Boy, I'm growing tired of them. I did try and be creative at cooking once before, but there are some things that are better left forgotten. The Behemoth Jaw. I can't conceive of how a creature with teeth this big could have ever lived. Emperor Bulblax, that bloated meat whale, is the only creature I've seen half that size. The only thing I can do is hope I never encounter something that massive. Oh, we've got these various marbles as well. The Pikmin, the crystallized telekinesis. The Pikmin are always staring at me. It's nice to see that they look up to me, but it's becoming unnerving. Sometimes I just want to hide away in the ship just to escape their beady eyes. The crystallized clairvoyance. Trying to sort out the 5 different colours of Pikmin is giving me a headache. I'll be a much better tactician if I take a moment to study each Pikmin's unique abilities. We know all this already. The crystallized telepathy. I speculate this crystal is in fact highly intelligent. It must possess telepathic powers. When I peer into it, the reflection of my face is bright red. It must be sensing my stress. Tomorrow, I think I'll sleep through the whole day. And finally, the Rubber Ugly. The first time I laid eyes on this hideous treasure, I thought it was a gigantic aquatic monster. It took me several terror-filled seconds to realise it's just an ugly statue. What a relief. I was ready to run all the way back to Hocketate. And then we'll do some Picklepedia stuff. The antenna beetle. I hate these things. Mesmeri Radiocontra, Kettlebug family. This creature is able to control Pikmin by way of the peculiar frequency of its roar, but its only objective seems to be defensive in nature, as it stops Pikmin from attacking and forces them to run away. This beast prefers humid and dimly lit environments and has been known to inhabit empty and discarded containers. For this reason, it's wise to thoroughly ventilate any specimens that are recovered. Lifting off of one of these creatures in the hold can lead to a rupturing of the specimen during decompression, resulting in an explosive mess. The lesser spotted jellyfloat, Cephalus dotalium. Cephalus just means head, I think. Well, dotted head makes sense. Jellyfloat family. This native jellyfloat is indigenous to the region. Unfortunately, it is currently endangered, as its habitat has been overwhelmed by hostile immigrant species, which presumably is the greater spotted jellyfloat, Cephalus vortexia. Vivid pink coloration is the most noticeable characteristic of this floating life form. This immigrant species is not native to the region, having appeared to have recently arrived on wind currents. The luminescent organ in its head attracts prey, which is then sucked up and consumed by its lower orifice. Unlike jellyfish, the jellyfloat's tentacles do not have nematocysts, singing cells, so there's no danger in touching them. The anode dweevil, Mandarecnia volticula dweevil family. Members of the dweevil family are known for carrying objects of astounding size on their backs. We know that, yep. The anode dweevil is one species in this family. They seem to have no particular preference for which objects they carry in their backs, as they will carry anything they can lift. They boast an internal organ that generates electrical charges when the anode dweevil releases, when it senses danger. The Toady Bloister. It is a brilliant name. I love it so much. Toady Bloister. That sound they make is kind of freaky though. Molluskid Minionicus. The mollusking family. This species of creature has yet to fully evolve from the shelled mollusk to the more advanced Bloister. Compared to the Bloister, this creature is significantly smaller. The fact that its mandibles do not protrude as significantly as the ranging Bloister is due in part to the fact that it is like most mollusks, its vital organs are located deep within the creature's carapace. The cave Wallihop, oh, it's called the Wallihop, isn't it? Amphicarus albino. It is believed that juvenile Wallihops were once carried around underground into underground currents where they thrived in the dark habitat. This troglodytic, cave dwelling, species of the Wallihop's coloration results from generations of cave dwelling and lack of sunlight. Comparative differences between the size and shape of this Wallihop and other species are thought to be the result of natural selection at work, choosing traits better suited to a subterranean environment. Yeah, it's really cool, the evolution of that in real life when cave animals lose coloration and they lose eyes and stuff like that, just because that shit's expensive to maintain if you don't need it. It's really cool. What else we got? Unmarked spectralids we've got now. Fenestari prismatus. We have windows. My Latin's not particularly strong at the moment, as you can tell. While strolling through the forest of this planet, clouds of these creatures are seen dancing overhead. Like flower petals drifting in the breeze, the sight of the flitterbies dancing in the lush green undergrowth is unforgettable. Flitterbee collectors drool over specimen sample boxes lined up in order, highlighting the slight colour gradation changes from blue to red to yellow. Such items fetch particularly high prices at auction. Did it say Flitterbee family? Yeah. Butterflies, until relatively recently, the last couple hundred years, were actually called flutterbies by everyone. It's quite interesting. It was the poet William Wordsworth who called them a butterfly as a kind of hilarious bit of wordplay, and it stuck as the name for them. Very interesting. Anyway, the Pileated Snagret is definitely new. Chiropodes ambulatria. Walking, that means. Chiropodes is something foot. Ambulatory means walking. Snavian family. This variety of Snagret has the ability to both burrow underground and walk above it. Its earthy red coloration and distinct ear and eye markings make it immediately recognisable. Despite featuring a chimera-like merging of serpent and avian features, the Pileated Snagret has poor eyesight for a bird, perhaps due to extended periods spent underground. To compensate for this, its nose features a thermal sensing organ common to many snakes. Yeah, it's called the Jacobson's organ. It's in the top of their... Yeah, that is the Jacobson's organ, isn't it? Or am I thinking of the taste thing? So snakes can sense like thermal radiation, like infrared, which they can use to detect heat sources, but they taste by smelling, so they waft their tongue around that's why they have the forked tongue, and pick a bit from the left and the right, and then they slap it up into the roof of their mouth, and it basically connects to their nose, and that's kind of how they smell. One of those is called a Jacobson's organ. Can't remember which. Terrible. Making it dangerous if effective hunter. Unfortunately, the design of the Pileated Snagret looks dumb as fuck, personally speaking. And the Ranging Bloister. There's a mollusking one as well, Molluskid predatoria. This species of mollusk has shed its shell through the process of evolution. What appears as a flower-shaped protrusion on its back actually functions as its gills. The Ranging Bloister ensnares small animals with its sticky tentacles and reels them in. Observers have noted this creature exhibits a keen interest in flashing objects. It often tries to capture and ingest these objects. Researchers and explorers equipped with flashing identification beacons should be wary when in close proximity to this dangerous predator. And that's why it targets your captains. A couple of bosses that we've not seen yet. And then, is there anything new in any of these? Possibly not. Oh, the Doodlebug's new, innit? flatularum. Farting. That literally means. Pileated is like. There's certain types. Oh, it's giving me pillbug. It's going for not pileated. Because pileated are small hairs. While life forms that excrete foul musk to warn of danger are not rare, the doodlebug is one of the only species known to release flatulence when active above ground. Interestingly enough, since it is merely releasing the gas created by the decay of the contents of the creature's intestines, it does not have a special musk-producing organ. This means the creature is, in fact, merely flatulating. Spectral analysis of the rank gas it contains indicates it contains not only methane, but hydrogen sulfide as well, making the flatulence a grade 8 biohazard. Methane and hydrogen sulfide are both fairly common in human flatus as well. And yes, flatus is the technical term for fart. One of my favourite facts. Did I ever actually read for the iridescent glint beetle? Pileaoricus. This variety of beetle consumes subterranean minerals. Due to the fact that it rarely emerges above ground, sighting of this particular species are extremely rare. While minerals are this creature's primary source of food, the beetle itself does not have the ability to digest these minerals. Instead, metabacteria living inside the beetle's stomach chemically break down the minerals. The resulting purified metal is discharged, but rare metals such as gold and platinum crystallize onto the iridescent beetle's shell, resulting in the beautiful laminated shimmer. And I believe that's it, so we'll call the episode there. It's been a mostly reading-based episode, but that's alright. So, thank you very much for watching. Next episode, don't worry, we will be exploring the new area, the Wistful Wild, which has 5 above ground treasures and 3 caves. One of which is considered the, in inverted commas, final dungeon of the game, and the other 2 are mental. So, hopefully you'll join me for that episode. Thank you very much, and good day.